Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for July 26th through 30th, 2021. Wow, how are we doing? We're coming out of that very powerful full moon in Aquarius, kind of making us stop and reflect about the bigger picture of what's going on here. What are we doing? We're stuck at the edge of the new age. What's keeping us from stepping over? What's holding us back? And a lot of what's coming forward right now with Jupiter at that 0.0 degrees Pisces, an exact square to Black Moon Lilith at 0 degrees Gemini, and Venus then making a T-square. Now Mars is coming to the end of Leo and will be making this T-square, the epic journey saga of Mars and Venus in their empowerment path. So this is a really important energy for us. Mars coming to the end degrees of Leo. At the end of the sign, there's a bloom of the energy. And Mars is the ruler of expressive, fiery Aries. And so in Leo, it's this kind of like, are we going to do this? What are we doing? Are we going to do something? And here we are stuck at the edge. Now, it's really frustrating to work so hard to get to the top of the mountain and then find it enshrouded in clouds and mist. And that's kind of how it feels right now. It's like, I thought we were getting somewhere. Now it's time for me to do something and go down the other side, except I can't tell what is up from down, right? It's like, I don't know what path did I come on? Am I going to go backwards? Am I going forwards? How can you tell what's going on in when you're ensconced in the fog? And this is exactly what's going on in our reality right now, because most of humanity, maybe more and more each day, waking up to the fact that we are in a massive war. There's this massive shadow war going on other levels. And until you're aware of this, then you're a pawn in the game. And what's happening is that one of the main tactics of war is the fog of war, total confusion. Now, this is also a major tactic of manipulation. Say, if we look at it in relationships, personal relationships, or our situations in the world, when you're really confused and you can't figure out what's going on, that is a sure sign that you're being manipulated. So when does humanity get in the game? Because right now, until we get in the game, we're a pawn in the game. And it's a really strange thing, because it's like this overwhelming feeling for supernova souls, like you need to do something, and yet total confusion, inability to act. Every door is closed. And the deal is that we are at the top of the mountain, but we can't see which way we came from and how to even get down. We came for the view. We came for an understanding of the bigger picture of like, oh, I thought we were moving into the Aquarian Age. And all is dark. So very interesting energies this week, because just keep in mind, a lot of times you'll feel this is part of the bloom at the end of a sign. It's like, bah, and then it shifts, right? Because we had that Venus T-square with Jupiter, Black Moon Lilith, 0 degrees, and now we've got Mars coming into it. So on Tuesday, Mercury is going to move into Leo. Right now, Mercury is in an opposition with Pluto. So Mercury is coming to the end Mercury's coming to the end of Cancer, and Mars is coming to the end of Virgo, and Jupiter is moving backwards in this retrograde from Pisces back into Aquarius. So indeed, it's kind of like, okay, wait a minute, what are we doing here? How do we get past this stuck place? And it has everything to do with the voice of the feminine. Unless the empowered feminine is heard in our lives day to day and in our world, we're never going to get anywhere, is the message here. Now, the masculine coming in to this story. What role does the masculine at the end degrees of Leo coming into this T-square with Jupiter poised at the turning point of ages? an exact square to Black Moon Lilith. And this is where this frustration energy is coming up, because it's like, there's so much inside of us that's not yet been expressed. And that is the new age. That is the new chapter. Now, it's very emotional with Mercury at the end degrees of Cancer moving into Leo and that opposition with Pluto. But it's really interesting because it's like, oh, the full expression, which is the sun in Leo, Mars in Leo, our full expression, humanity, has to do with our emotions, with the range of feeling and power in our emotions. That's our intuitive power, is in alignment with that. That's our feminine power. So it's like we can go ahead and express our God self, but without our passion and our emotion and our compassion, then we're never going to get anywhere. Because the full expression of humanity is this full expression of our compassion and our emotion and our intuition. Now, this is exactly individually supernova souls. What's going on is this, this astrology really speaks to a complete change, which might help you feel kind of reconcile all the feelings this week of this way, that way, coming and going. What am I doing? Where am I going? And this frustrating feeling we've had for so long of this fog of war. But there's a lot here around, if our feminine is going to have a voice again, say in our individual life, then that is speaking to this completely different way of creating in the world. And so that goes along with this kind of push. We've been pushing forward, trying to make stuff happen with our will. Yeah, but where we need to be right now is at the top of the mountain, is in that still point, is in that place under the Bodhi tree where you are receptive and waiting. And yet this Mars at the end of Leo says, come on, let's do something. Finally, let's see something happen, you know? And yeah, it's like, wait a minute, what we want to do is receive and be present and act out of that place of alignment and connection. So just know that there's a bloom of these energies because it's just about to shift. Literally 3 planets switching signs this week is changing the whole backdrop of our reality. And so just know that we're in this turning point. And perhaps once we find the strength and the compassion and the presence to be present, then maybe the fog can clear and we can start to see our way down the other side. So Mercury opposite Pluto, Mercury in Cancer, speaking to the compassion and the emotion of the human as a power that can break us out of the chains of external control. And of course, we're at this fog of war place where it's like, you know, the tipping point of this whole shadow war is humanity understanding we're in a war. Once they understand we're in a war, then they can stand up in their power and in their strength, and we, the people, can take back our world. But so you can see the agenda to keep us absolutely confused and disoriented is playing out. But it's all shifting. And when you have all this shifting at one time, it's bound to kind of shake things up enough to get a sense, right? Because we've got that Mercury blooming at the end of Cancer, moving into Leo in a couple of days here tomorrow, and then Jupiter making its way back into Aquarius, Mars moving over into Virgo. Now, Venus is already in Virgo. So Mars joining Venus and Virgo this week is, of course, making that T-square with Jupiter and Black Moon Lilith. But the Virgo energy is really welcome right now. It's like kind of Virgo is about grounding out, getting practical, sorting through. And this is where we are in our life. We got to sort through some stuff, right? It's like, okay, we've done all this work. We've gone to the top of the mountain, but we can't take all that with us down the other side. And so this is a really good time to kind of sort through the rubble of your life, get organized and prepared for the next chapter. And so, but we continue to be at this 0 point with Jupiter at 0 degrees and Black Moon Lilith. Now, Black Moon Lilith will move over in the next few days to 1 degree Gemini, Jupiter back into Aquarius. So it'll be coming off of this square, but Mars joining them. You know, Mars opposite, Mars, our warrior, at the end of Leo in this opposition with Jupiter poised at that shift of ages point. So know that, yes, it's time to ground out. It's time to get organized. It's trying to see through the fog, but we're still at 0 point. We're still at that in between, but just about to turn the corner. So really interesting energies. And this kind of grounding out and getting practical and sorting through our life is really good energy for us to figure out where we came from and where we're going and what is our role as we move forward. And maybe that's part of this frustration. It's like, you do have a big role, and there's part of you that's been hiding from that role. We've all been programmed with fear. The whole reality for thousands of years is absolutely designed to make sure you don't know this potential inside of you, and yet it's calling in your heart in this massive way. Mars is moving out of Leo, Mercury moving into Leo, the sun is in Leo, so we still have this, very powerful Leo energy around our role in the game. Except if we're not in the game, then how can we play our role? And what does it mean? How do we get in the game without in the war, without in the conflict, pulled down into the weeds of all the old stories? Okay, so this is really important. You've made it to this point out of those stories. And maybe that's this uncomfortable place because it's like, well, I could easily get pulled back in the stories, or I could start a new chapter down the other side. The Aquarian age for you supernova souls is a completely different energy. The Piscean age, all about working against the light that you are. Now, that light that you are is absolutely necessary to get us over the hump into the new. You're here to lead the way. No wonder the energies were so against you. So maybe that's part of our reorientation right now at this 0 point mutable signs. It's like, oh, wait, there's a war going on, but actually my awareness of the shadow war is how I get out of the war and start operating in the new paradigm, in the new frequency. And it's like it's just so hidden right now, but just about to clear. And what's clearing for you is finding those deepest hidden gifts and skills, right? So your most powerful gifts and skills that you came in with as a supernova soul are the most hidden, taboo, but the ones being called forth right now. No wonder we are in the fog of war. And the whole fog is all about, this is part of the difficult, but also absolutely freeing and enlightening energy of recognizing where the people around you, for the most part, for lifetimes, have been invested in distracting, disconnecting, invalidating your spiritual truth. And now it's our time to shine. Except when you're in the fog of war, the light is diffused. It almost bounces back at you, right? So sit tight, be present, be in the 0 point for a little while longer. Let's see what happens over this next week. And it's almost like maybe recognizing where you have been a victim of this war is how you get out of victimhood for good and start building in the new. It's just this uncomfortable feeling of waiting for something big to happen that feels like we got to get over this hump. And we thought we were getting somewhere, but now we're enshrouded in the fog of war. And that is keeping us in this disempowered place. So what's your role here? This is the pressure. What's your role here? Oh, you're forced to be at still point at the top of the mountain, but completely covered in fog and smoke and haze and deliberate delusions. Except for that, you can see all the energy of artificial control that's going into this fog. And the awakening and spiritual activation is an organic process that cannot be stopped. It's been gaining momentum in all these cycles throughout time. And if we go back to sleep this time, it's over. That's why you're here. That's why you're wide awake. That's why it hurts so much. That's why everybody else is going along in their blissful ignorance, and you're going, what the F? Pat yourself on the back for being here right now. Keep blinking, keep opening, keep clarifying and purifying. This is our energy right now, clarifying and purifying our field, our heart, our soul. Now, part of the deal with this Mercury opposite Pluto is speaking to the power of our human compassion. That is how we get out of the trap of external control. And we've been taught that compassion and emotion and intuition is something weak and something to be repressed, right? We've all been living in this whole paradigm. See, we're starting to see the falling apart of the medical tyranny paradigm, but it's a long-held agenda to suppress the immune system, to suppress the power of humanity, except for it can only be suppressed so far until that organism fights back, because the definition of human life, which is what they're trying to disorder right now with the mRNA distortion, it's bypassing our immune system with the jab, and it's like, but the definition of human, of life itself, is to fight for life. And that power should not be underestimated. And the pressure of this suppression is getting to the point where the organism, our earth, our physical bodies, ready to just overcome, throw off all disease, but the evidence of the disease, the evidence of the sickness, this control energy has to be revealed. And so just wanted to validate how uncomfortable it is for supernova souls. It can be right now as you watch the world around you go deeper to sleep. And it's really hard to be that one person awake in a room of sleeping people. But no, you've made it to the top of the mountain, but you're just still in the fog of war. And clarity is coming. And it's time to just completely, like Virgo is the harvest, right? It's about separating out the chaff from the wheat. It's about sorting through what's needed and what's not needed as we move to the next set of the cycle of life, into that Libra energy, which is that perfect balance, right? So we're sorting through, we're grounding out. It's a really good energy. It's like practical. Let's get practical. Let's get down to earth. Let's talk about what really matters and understand that the playing out in the world is all about that. It's all about getting humans back to what really matters. And so the blissful ignorance, let it be. And you be in your, as much as you can, ecstatic celebration at being awake and alive, but knowing that that's coming out of suppression, and it hurts. It feels so much that you haven't felt for so long. And yet we cannot get to our next level of evolution without feeling and opening the heart. A mystical combination here of the Cancer energies and the Leo energies. That our place in the universe, our role, is in our full expression. Except our full expression has been deeply repressed and suppressed. Think of it. I mean, how much supernova soul, as an aware, awake, growing, dedicated to your spiritual path, are you feeling more and more over these years of souls, the energy and souls of that are being repressed through psychological manipulation, through pharmaceutical drugs, through mind control programs. And you're feeling all of it because you're brave enough to open your heart and be awake and alive. Now, it hurts right away when you start to open your heart because you got to feel everything that you haven't felt. But then the power. So it's interesting, this combination of astrological energies telling us that, yes, we've got to be in our full potential and express our place in the world as an advanced soul. But that means understanding that you're going against the grain and that everything else in the regular life is going towards trying to clamp down, control, and suppress. And but look at all the artificial mechanisms going into that. And you stand in your rightful truth. There is no higher power than you, a conscious soul, aware of itself in a human body. You have access to full God force within you. And it's an amazing awakening, but you got to get through that dark time. You got to get through the alone time. You got to get through the suppressed stuff. You got to get through all those old stories that keep pulling you back down from the side of the mountain. It's like we're scaling the side. And part of that, when you're really getting somewhere, that's when those contractual arrangements of responsibility to other souls is going to come up. And they're like, no, come back to sleep with us. No, this is where we want to be. This is the comfortable place. We want to stay in the fog. We want to stay asleep. Here, just come on down here with us, and you're climbing your way up and you're all alone and you're like, what the F? Get me out of this. And the only way out is within. The only way out of the matrix for you, supernova soul, is your light body, your full expression. And you can't get there without your open heart. And your heart it's like I'm seeing this. I've often seen like a kind of almost like a safe, a bank door, like just this thick door holding the heart closed in supernova souls because of everything you've gone through and you just had to make it through, right? But that has been cracking open. Now I'm seeing bandages and wounds, right? Scar tissue, raw. But underneath that is your pure little light of yours that is actually so bright. One little light lighting up the whole planet. So don't lose sight of that. Be in your heart. And then that's where we can remember that we're all connected. A web of light. You're not alone. We're doing this together. We're here together. We made it. Nothing can stop what's coming. Just be present with the fog of war that's about to clear. And this Virgo energy for you personally and in your life, it's like, okay, I'm ready to clear the fog of war. I'm ready to stand up in my truth, even if it's in silence, in every situation. I'll no longer cower from the light of truth. It's everything. And so just, I guess the message is like, it's that darkest before the dawn place. And this feeling is natural this week, the feel of this frustration, this coming to the end of Mars and Leo. And did we get in our empowerment, or are we still stuck in the fog of war? Do we ever get to get out of this trap? Did I miss my opportunity? Did I not do what I was supposed to do when I was, so much going on with this big shift this week. But know that it is shifting. That's evidence that it is shifting. And let's just see what's around the corner. Be present, be under that Bodhi tree, live and breathe in your heart, and trust and focus. Take time out of your day to deliberately connect with your soul group members that are going through exactly what you're going through. This is what, in the information that's come forward around supernova souls through past life readings, this very clear message that you guys came in a group, your soul group, it's like a little pod from the very beginning. And what that means is that you have very similar patterns that have played out in your past life. We've all done our individual journey, right? But when you can tap into those patterns of programming that have happened through your lifetimes in this earth evolution, and understand that your soul group members are working on the exact same stories, right? And the only thing keeping us stuck in those stories at this point seems to be isolation from each other. So exercise your right to be present in your heart. And it's like I just see this little tiny flame, never went out, but it was deeply hidden in the safe and now under the wounds and the bandages. And that light is going to bring you to your soul group members. And so let it shine, be present, take a few minutes here and there throughout your day, whenever you're feeling this fog, this confusion, this frustration, this so much inside of you that wants to be expressed. And know that your supernova soul tribe is all feeling the same way in their own individual experience of it, you know? And when you can focus there, that energy can bring you up the last bit of this mountain and let all other karmic responsibility energies fall away. People are making their choice. This is part of this time that we are in the revelation. You've got to pick a lane. You can't be a little of this, a little of that. And you pick your lane by going and being an example and being brave and being that living, breathing truth and saying, you're fine. You want to be there, fine. But I'm not going to stay there with you. See why they want us there so bad? Come on down here in the sleepiness. It's okay. You can get along with us. You'll be part of the group. Because one person outside the group challenges the whole narrative. That's why you've been so attacked. So live and breathe in that truth. Celebrate that truth. Vision inside of yourself, this truth growing so strong. You know, it's not about facts and truth in the outside world right now. It's about you and your spiritual truth. That's the truth that saves the world, and it saves you. So just worry about you right now, right? But very interesting times. Like we're just on this edge of shifting, and it's almost like, it almost feels like that train in the roundhouse thing, and everybody's getting sorted out on their timeline, right? It's like we're in a big entanglement. We had to all come together to get through this portal, and we're kind of sorting out where everybody, you know, that thing. And you never had a choice here because you came for this. And you came for your full expression. You came for that, these incredible set of jewels, treasures, and gifts inside of you. So that is the way. And it's a whole new way of living and breathing and navigating based on this truth, which you didn't even know you had. So just sit tight, breathe, know that it's all being unveiled. And your role is, it's like we're frustrated because we want to get out there and do something, but our doing something is exactly this living, breathing truth, which is absolutely in alignment with everything they want us to keep us from, which is our immune system, our life force, our ability to heal ourselves, our God force right there within us. That is the exact same. Your truth, your treasures, absolutely in alignment with your God-given right of life force. Are you ready to be that living, breathing example of ecstatic existence? I know it doesn't feel possible right now because it's like you're exhausted, and that you're just validate the work you've been doing, holding all of this garbage. There's a huge, okay, so part of the thing that comes up for supernova souls is group contracts where you feel responsible for a whole group. And that might be, that's typically connected to where you were in a leadership role in a past life. And this is where we get to the supernova soul, huge coming up right now, these Mars with N degrees of Leo. This reluctant leader, you said, oh, I'm never going to do that again. I am never going to play that role, never going to take on that responsibility. No, because you were manipulated and betrayed by these dark forces. And, you know, but I'm kind of feeling a group contract coming up with like the whole Earth evolution right now for supernova souls, because you only came in here for this. And isn't it, can you, I think this is a metaphorical example in our everyday life that's coming up where we all have been forced to, over this last couple of years, especially but the whole Piscean age, to like not speak our truth when it comes around, because it's like it'd be too painful to those asleep, and there would just be conflict and anger. And when you call out lies, you get anger and retribution, right? And so we've just peacefully chosen to not go there. And but why? I mean, because we don't want to be attacked, because we want to still be a part of the group, but there's also this responsibility, to that we don't want them to be in pain. And this is how we got stuck here, really, because we've interfered on the level that it's a free will universe, right? And we all need to choose our reality. And in the past, you wanted to take away the pain of humanity, and you may have interfered to the point where now maybe this is a frustration, right? There's so much within you. I got to do something. And yet you're immobilized, and it's this weird group contract thing coming up where it's just so much easier to let them be in their blissful ignorance, right? And yet we need to do that. We need to non-interfere, but yet we need to express our truth. Because we can't get out of this and stay in blissful ignorance. We'll never make it. We'll become robots. We're AI machines. So are we really helping by just, but it's like so much easier just to let people be in their blissful ignorance. And so here we are. We're stuck at the 0 point. And then there's a knowledge in your heart that if we are going to move forward, and there's so many light workers here on the planet, it's just like, we're all here, we're all ready, we're all doing what you did it, you're doing it, even though there's this feeling of something unexpressed inside of you, you made it here. You're here, you're present, you're awake. And so we cannot get out of this and into our next stage of our evolution, maybe this whole astrology 0 point speaking to it, without humanity fully knowing how much they've fully been controlled. The blissful ignorance cannot stand. It's not going to be blissful anymore. It's already full of absolute manipulation and mind control. And so maybe that's this contract coming up of feelings of responsibility, and everywhere that you wanted to buffer the pain of the people around you. And so you took it on because you could handle it better. Is this what's been dogging you down, like family members, ancestral people who have long passed, and you're still holding their pain? Because it's easier, you're more evolved, you can handle it. And it's like, no, you can't handle it anymore. You're here to be free. You're here to be in your full expression. And so interesting concepts to throw around, and it's perfect, like this 0 degrees mutable, blah, but so Mars, we have a huge bloom. Mars is going to be in exact opposition with Jupiter on later this week, Thursday, 29th. And then in exact square with Black Moon Lilith for the next couple of days. So this transition from July into August is definitely the 0 turning point. So just keep reminding yourself you're there, and keep reminding yourself you're in the fog of war. Keep reminding yourself that it cannot stand. You already decided, we're here, we're doing it. So clean up, get organized, be present, be ready for the shift that's coming, and understand that all of this feeling of frustration is because it's about to shift. And no matter what the blissfully ignorant people have to go through around you, you're going to be feeling way better, because you're going to be in your expression. You're going to be in your place of peace and truth and harmony. It's okay, you guys. I went down into the dark side in order to be here right now to tell you it's going to be okay. There you are. Be here. Let's be here together. And understand that that fear that comes when the blissful ignorance breaks and the reality comes through, we're in the cognitive dissonance denial part right now. But as that comes through, it's going to be, there's that psychic pain, right, of having to face where you've been lied to and having to face the truth. But it's not actually the pain anything near what you've been through as a soul. And now it's time to reap the rewards. You went through the wilderness. And that's maybe where supernova souls need to be here right now. Like, I went there, I did that. I'm not playing anymore. I'm out of the matrix. And those that want to be blissfully ignorant may stay in the matrix. They may go through a whole nother round. They may need to play out this timeline. Who knows what's happening? But you know who you are. You know you've had enough. You know there's so much inside of you that's ready to be expressed, and you're going to feel so much better when you are doing it. But right now, we're still sorting through the rubble, right? Because we finally broke the chains on the heart. Now there's all the wounds, healing. And that's the thing, right? Like, we cannot offer the healing and the harmony to humanity unless we can receive it for ourselves. And maybe that's this part of this shift into Virgo. Virgo is a healing sign. It's a sorting through, cleaning up, grounding out. We really need this energy. And so let yourself be there. It's almost like I'm seeing you moving out of your old house. And that old house is all the constructs of your hereditary programming and who everybody's told you needed to be. And you can't just, if you run away and leave all your shit there, it's like unresolved, right? You got to go back and you got to sort through your shit, And so here we are, which means we're actually getting somewhere. We're actually moving. We're about to completely escape. And the way out, in to our heart. So let's be here together. Make the most of this time. It is very frustrating for unknown reasons, but just be present with that and know we're all going through that together. And it's because this potential inside of you is ready to be reborn. Virgo is the virgin. And it's also about, sorting out the old, but so you can birth into the new in the purified form, And what if all of the things that you've been struggling against are just the old stories and they don't actually have anything to do with who you really are? What we take with us is our soul growth and our gifts and skills and talents, lifetime to lifetime, and those only get more and more and more. You are the abundance principle. Are you ready to live in that place? And how can you offer that picture to the world of this more is more if you're not willing, if you can't receive it? So, interesting, because it comes back full circle. How do you receive it? It's by being in your living truth. Because everything that's keeping you from receiving is part of those old stories. So here we are, a very strange place to be. We made it somewhere, but we can't see anything. So hang in there. So much love to you, Supernova Souls. Thank you so much for your support, for being with me. The best way to support this movement, this work, and bring your energy is to be a part of the Supernova Soul Tribe on my website. The information to sign up is in the information box below. It's $9.99 a month. That gets you event discounts, live Q&As, and a weekly update just for you, Supernova Souls. So that's, if you're missing a Wednesday update, you're getting to the middle of the week and you need a little something, that's where you find it. So join us there. Also, direct donations can support. I just super appreciate you bringing your energy, being here with me. I can feel these energies resonate, and I know that I'm talking right to you. I can feel a very specific group of souls. This isn't for everybody. And if you're receiving this and you're saying, oh yeah, I know what she's talking about, then you're here with us and we're here together. We're not messing around. We're totally on the light ship or off the light ship. And so let's be there together in the glory of a supernova soul experience. So I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a wonderful week. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.